Okay, y'all, let me remove this. Boom. Hey, everybody. Ooh, look at that blue screen. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Lovely from the Library. That's not it. Sorry, yeah. Lovely's live stream. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about a very amazing book. It is The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm super excited about this book. I'm going to try and cover as much as I can and remember to breathe deeply. Sometimes when I get super excited, I breathe shallow and that just messes up everything for everybody. But I hope you guys really enjoy this book as much as I did. I am trying to share this live stream out with everybody. I'm just double checking some things. Y'all know it's just me doing this by myself. So give me a tiny bit of grace and I'm going to see where I'm at because I can't even see that I am live on here. Everything looks good. It's just not streaming to where I thought it would be streaming to. Hold on one second, friends. Let me try one thing. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'm just looking, trying to make sure that it's where it's supposed to be. Hang on, let me check this. Let me check. I'm checking the branches. Oh, there I am there. Okay, hey, I don't know why it's not showing up on my own page. Let's see one last time. Let's see. Yeah, it's not showing up on my page, and I don't know. Let me refresh. Maybe I did something wrong. There I am. There I am. Okay, good. All right, it just took me just a second, y'all. Thank you for being so patient with me. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is share this really quickly. One second. I have to do this one last thing, and then I promise y'all, we're going to be about the business of fancy dance, and I just got to do this. Okay. Anyway, how are y'all doing? I hope that you all have been able to participate in summer reading. If you haven't, we're going to be doing summer reading all the way until the end of August. So please bring your children by 0 to 18. I have a 6-month-old participating in summer reading. So I really hope that y'all get the chance to come by and do that. We're giving away a lot of different prizes. We are giving away coupons and free books, and y'all get to come and see me. That's probably one of the most fun things about it. But I really hope that y'all can come and do this. I'm fixing to share this live stream out. Excuse me, y'all. There. The issue is that I can't share it until it goes live. So I'm sorry that we have to do this, but come and discuss The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. You are in for a treat. There. Okay, now we're done. All right, so let me get my notes. I'm trying something a little bit new today. So y'all, again, thank you for your patience. I think this is going to work out as far as a format goes from now on. So let's get started. We're just going to, boom. Okay. Perfect. I like this. I like this a lot. All right, let's add this because I needed to make it bigger so I can see. I wish this wasn't like that. That's okay. So today we are going to be talking about The Buffalo Hunter, and it's by Stephen Graham Jones. I had never read a Stephen Graham Jones book before, and I don't do horror a whole bunch. I don't like being scared. I had too many spiritual practices that I'm involved in to be messing around with demons, baby. I don't play with demons. I don't try to call up stuff I don't think I could deal with. And I can't deal with no demons. No, thank you. But my goodness, y'all, this was such an amazing book. Stephen Graham Jones is a phenomenal writer. But let me talk to you about this man. Okay, so this is Stephen Graham Jones. He is I think I meant to amend that. I have on here an enrolled member of the Blackfeet Nation. Blackfeet people, I don't mean to be in your business. I'm not finna say who's enrolled and who's not. It's none of my business. Although, let me quit. So I meant to amend that, but I did not. So first of all, Stephen Graham Jones is from Texas. He was born in Midland, Texas. Hey, Stephen. And then he went on to get his BA at Texas Tech in English. Then he got his MA at the University of North Texas. Hey, Stephen, I think we might have been just barely missing each other because I used to live in Denton, Texas, too. And I think you went on to Florida by the time I got to Denton, Texas. He is the author also of multiple comic books as well. Let's see what else. Right now, he is a professor at the University of Colorado. If I didn't get that wrong. Yeah, he's in Boulder. And he is a multi-literary award winner. And he also writes under the pen name P.T. Jones. And he is the author of over 35 books, short stories, and collections. Now, why did I give you this whole man's curriculum vitae? Let me pop my head back in here real quick, y'all. Here I am. So why did I give you his curriculum vitae? I really think that it matters. I think that it matters so much. I think that who he is as a person influences how he writes. So I just kind of wanted y'all to know. I think that about everybody. But y'all, this book was so good. It was bloody, it was gory, but it was so well written. So I just wanted you to know who you are along the ride for too, or who you are along the ride with. Like I said, I've never read a Stephen Graham Jones book before. This is my first one, and I enjoyed it immensely. Sometimes because I am a little scary, I can't read horror or thrillers. It stays with me too long. It gets in my bones and it haunts them, and I don't like it. But anywho, let's get into this. Okay, so I read the audiobook, and our narrators, there's 3 different narrators. Like the story, it switches between 3 different perspectives. So we have 3 different narrators. And y'all, if you, I would recommend the audiobook. If you're not into audiobooks, then obviously the source material is super amazing. But the narrators did a fantastic, outstanding job. And you guys probably even recognize a couple of these folks up here. So our main protagonist or character, Good Stab, was narrated by Shane Ghostkeeper. He's from Canada. He's Métis and Cree and Saltu. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't speak French. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mess your nation's name up, Shane. I'm so sorry. Etsy Bocrane. Am I saying that right? Etsy Bocrane? I'm trying to think if I'm saying it right, because again, it's a French word. It means good meat. Was by Marin Ireland, and Arthur Bocane was Owen Teal. I recognize Owen Teal from all that PBS mystery shows and BBC I be watching. I'm like, I know that man's face. Y'all might recognize him more recently from Game of Thrones. I know Marin Ireland too. I just can't place where I've seen her before. They all did a phenomenal job. My God, well, today it was good. Okay, so far, this book just came out in 2025. It is classified under the genre historical horror. I want to call it a Western Gothic or something like that, because I really think that it was in the same vein that Lone Women by Victor Laval is a Western Gothic. Anywho, it won the Bram Stoker 2525 Award, the Nebula 2026 Award, the Audie 2026 Horror Award, and the Locust 2026 Horror Award. There's a whole bunch more too. I think it won a Best Horror from the, I already said that part. There are a lot more that it is in league for as far as awards, and there's going to be so many more that it wins because it's that good of a book. Some of the themes and tropes that I hope to get to tonight, this afternoon while we're talking, are going to be colonization, genocide, identity, erasure, religion, legacy, inheritance, morality, greed, and gluttony. Let me get my notes while y'all are doing that so that I can be on somewhat of the same page with you. Pardon me. All right, so now we are going to jump into the discussion questions. Let me make this screen a little bit smaller so y'all can see my face. What are we doing here? We can remove that from the stage. I think we're done. So I hope y'all caught all that. I can pop it back up. You know what, though, too? I need to be able to see a couple of things here. First off, please remember to like the channel. Like the channel so that I can keep coming here and doing what I need to do, bringing y'all good books. That's the other thing, too. I'm going to do my best to not spoil this for you. It's going to be, I'm going to do my best not to spoil it for you if you are in the process of reading this book. And I believe so many of you probably are, because they're all checked out, even the audio book. Please know that there might be spoilers. I'm going to do my best not to spoil it. So let's just jump into this. So how does this book start off? It starts off in 2012 with Etsy Bocane. She is a professor in Wyoming, and someone has given her a diary from her ancestor. I think it's her great-great-great-grandfather, Arthur Bocane, who was a Lutheran pastor. And it is a diary of sorts. And inside it is him telling the story of a Blackfoot man named Goodstab, and Goodstab's life and what happened to him and his people. Basically, that's the gist of it. So that is where we start. Etsy, and let me go on and tell y'all this. I knew, like, I'm reading this book, right? I'm listening to it, and I knew, like, within 45 minutes that I was in for a ride. I really think that Stephen Graham Jones, and I'm sorry, Stephen, I'm just going to call you by your first name. I know we ain't met and I ain't got your permission, sir, so I apologize for being a bit overly familiar. But this man is a phenomenal writer. It is very rare that you get to see somebody who is exactly where they're supposed to be, doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. He is a prolific writer, and he's just really, really good at it. He, I believe, has a love of words and language, and I think he captured everybody's voice so well. So like I said, it switches between three perspectives. Etsy, a young white woman who is a professor at Wyoming. Arthur Bocane, which lived in 1912, 100 years in the past, who is a Lutheran minister. And my favorite, my anti-hero, Goodstab, my big brother Goodstab, the Blackfoot man who was turned into a vampire and starts hunting the buffalo hunters. So this is where it starts, and I just like the way he captured everybody's voice. He even, like, when he sound like a pastor. Some of y'all might know, because I be telling y'all all my business, but I studied anthropology at A&M, so in the course of doing that, I had to read a lot of these different narratives. I took a whole course on Native American history. And so I had to read a lot of these different narratives. A lot of them were written by religious people, and he sounds just like them. I was like, oh my God, that is exactly how they talk. So that's why, and all the research that he clearly put into this book was phenomenal. So anyway, Etsy is having a hard time at, she's trying to get tenure. And so she's hoping, hey, maybe this diary from my ancestor will help me to get that. Yeah, so basically that's the gist of it. So we come to, in the beginning of her story, her grandfather is talking about this Blackfoot man who comes in. His name is Goodstab. Goodstab says, hey, I need to seek confession with you and whatnot. And so over a series of weeks, he comes in and he starts talking to Arthur Bocane. I'm going to just say pastor for probably from now on. Arthur lives in this western town in Montana, and there's another mystery to be solved. People start turning up dead outside of the town. They're skinned alive, they're dead. They're calling them humps. And so there's investigations and things like that going on. Shortly after Arthur buries one of these quote-unquote hunts, he is then visited by Goodstab in his church to seek confession. So I think I've set the stage. Let me check the time. Okay. Also, y'all, I'm going to check the comments. The one thing that I really liked about this book, like I keep saying, is the language. Good Stab tells Arthur, "Hey, you and me the same age." Arthur is 80 years old. Good Stab said, "Me too." And Arthur is looking at Good Stab like, "Ain't no way you 80. You don't look 80. I look 80. I got roomy eyes. I have a wonky foot. Please forgive me, y'all. But you don't. I don't believe you're 80." So Arthur Buchanan is I would say, a typical man of the time. He is disdainful of Good Stab. He's racist. He is condescending. He thinks he is there to better people. And he thinks he's the moral authority to do such. And he's not only doing this to Good Stab, but he does this to people in the town. He talks about the sex workers there. They're working in a brothel. He steals their cat. Come on now. He steals their cat. But also, there is a boarding house, and he talks about the people who hang outside the boarding house drinking all day too. Even though, hey, Arthur, you got some skeletons in your own closet. You need to worry about your own self, Arthur. Worry about your own self. Anyway, I am getting ahead of myself. So just to set the stage, that's kind of who he is. He has a flock of miscreants to look after, and he's their moral compass. My God, y'all need to get a whole new pastor if that's your moral compass. But I digress. So he is taking Good Stab's confession. This is where we learn how Good Stab came to not look like he's 80, even though he is. Good Stab goes on to tell us that him and his people are going out to basically be the cleanup crew. There is this warrior called Al Child who is going and he is killing, he's attacking these settlers who are harassing him and his people. Al Child kills a settler, and I believe this part is true. That's the other thing. There are historical significance in this book. Like there's a massacre. It's called the Maris massacre. I hope I'm saying that right. Again, please forgive me. It looks like Maria to me, so I'm gonna say it's Marius massacre. That actually did happen. That is a massacre that happened in Blackfeet Nation in Montana, where over 200 people were shot. They were shot and they were massacred. It was mostly women and children because they were down in that camp because they had smallpox and they were sick, and the men were off hunting. So these soldiers, I was going to say Confederates, sorry y'all, these soldiers came and they shot them all up. I believe that they were trying to they're trying to get them up and move them out there. I think they're trying to find a different person's a different chief's tribe, and they were like, well, these Indians, Schmindians, let's blow them to bits. And the chief there, tall chief, had basically a little they called it his naming paper. It was something saying, hey, we're on good terms with everybody, we're not here to cause no problems. That little piece of paper did not matter a hill of beans because they killed all those people. The official count, if you like Google it or something, it says it was 217. But when you take into account the people who did not die but were left without any supplies, no buffalo robes, no nothing in Montana, those people died too. And I'm just going to estimate a bit higher. I'm going to say 300 because that's probably closer to the truth anyway. That's how you justify shooting up sick people, women and children. How do you justify doing anyway? I digress. Let me take a deep breath. Okay. So Good Stab is telling us this. He's basically the cleanup crew. He's going out with a band of men, 3 other men, and they have to make sure that what Al Child is doing doesn't come back to hurt them, the Pagani, which is what the Blackfeet people called themselves. What else? I believe. Okay, so in the process of doing this, they're all looking around and they realize, hey, wait a minute, they're trying to set us up. We know we didn't do this, but they have they have made it look like we did so that they can retaliate against us as well. So they realize, hey, y'all are trying to set us up. And so they're trying to clean up this mess so that the blowback doesn't come back and hit them. They're already struggling as it is. In fact, Goodstab lost his wives and children in a raid. I believe he said the Crow did it. I don't remember Big Brother Goodstab who did it, but it was another Indian tribe, Native American group who did it. And so he's feeling a little bad about himself, feeling a little sad, a little put down. Also, before he even gets turned into a vampire, Goodstab is telling us that he has kind of been relegated to a little boy. His status in the tribe is low because he gave this one kid a gun, and the kid put the wrong type of bullets in it, and he shot it, and it blew off 3 of his fingers. So the young man's mom slapped him in the face, and Goodstab felt bad. He had a lot of guilt, so he hunted for them for a whole winter because now this young man can't hunt because he got 3 fingers. Anywho, so, pardon me. Excuse me. So that is part of what leads Goodstab to his fatal first decision. He wants a mini shotguns. I believe he is talking about a rifle. Let's pause real quick. In this book, Stephen Graham Jones uses a lot of traditional words that the Pagani Blackfeet people would have used. There is no glossary, no nothing in the book, honey. If you want to know what he's talking about when he calls something a wags his tail or long legs or a black horn or a white horn, friend, you're going to have to go searching on the internet. Somebody wrote a whole explainer. What is it called? Not a dictionary, but he got terms. This is what this term means. This is what that term means. And I found that incredibly helpful, but I'm glad that Stephen did not put that in the book because it makes you have to work to understand what Goodstab is conveying to you, just like Arthur had to. And honestly, Goodstab had to figure out how to speak English too. So I'm glad that he didn't tell us because once you get further and further into the book, you will start to be able to distinguish. And then you too will know what a dirt face is and what a big mouth is and a little mouth is. You'll start to understand what these terms mean. But I really like it because he's making us work for it to understand. I think that's part of the charm of the story. Oh, child, what is that, honey? I'm in the basement, y'all. I'm in the basement. It's haunted down here. But our ghost just flushed toilets and stuff. He ain't that bad. Anywho, what are we saying? Oh, so I like that aspect because he is making us work for this. Just like I said, just like Goodstab had to. And why shouldn't he? This is a book about Blackfeet people, so we need to adapt to them. Hello. Anywho, so they are cleaning all this up, and then they can't. It's snowing up in this mountain. On the mountain back there. This is not really Montana, but I'm pretending like it is. That's the backbone of the world, y'all. Anywho, and they need to get a yoke or something to move some of these horses out of the way, clear things out. So Goodstab goes off to go find it. Now, in his mind, Goodstab's like, he's looking around and he sees this beaver den. And he was like, I got like 9 pelts. I only need 1 more, and then I could trade these pelts for a mini shotgun or a rifle. The problem is that Goodstab's people have a taboo against killing beavers. You ain't supposed to do that. That'll mess your medicine up. It's bad luck. Goodstab wants to elevate his station in the tribe. So Goodstab, who don't be listening to nobody, goes on and he kills them anyway. He kills the beaver, and like that is the first mistake that he makes that changed him and his people's life forever. So he does that. He's going to hide the pelt somewhere so he can come back for it later. As he's doing this, he sees a soldier and he shoots him in the eye with an arrow, and that begins everything. The soldiers probably would have just kept going or left and they would have never found Good Stab and his crew of in the cleanup crew. That's what I'm gonna call him, because I'm sorry, y'all, I can't remember everybody's name. Let's see. Actually, that ain't true. Good Stab is caught in a violent encounter with a wagon train of white settlers holding a supernatural being in a cage. We're just gonna read this part. The strange humanist creature is bloodthirsty, death-defying, antagonistic, charismatic, and chatty. He is called the Catman. Okay. And he's a centuries-old vampire. So, anywho, Good Stab goes back to his crew, and he sees that they are fighting. They're fighting. Shots and things is going out. And the way, this is what I'm talking about Stephen being such a very good writer. Y'all, I really felt like I was reading this book. Like kind of like when Beyonce does a new drop and all the Beehive comes out and they give you all these clues and you have to kind of go on a scavenger hunt to figure out what's going on. I felt like that. I promise you, y'all, this man's writing he is an American treasure. I'm not even lying. I'm not exaggerating. He is like Toni Morrison level of writing, or an Alice Walker level of writing, Octavia Butler even. He's all of that, like, but for horror. And I know that y'all probably noticed I'm naming all Black women, and I did because those are my favorite people on the face of the earth. So if I'm comparing you to Black women, you know you're damn sure pretty dang good. And I promise you he is. Anywho, I keep fangirling over him because I did not expect for this to be like I said, I've never read anything by him, but people who have say that this is his masterpiece, and I'm 100% sure that it is, because what he was able to do with this story is, yes, it is about a Blackfoot man who gets turned into a vampire and he seeks revenge on his oppressors, but that's just the top story. The story underneath, there's a mystery in the middle, but the story underneath talks about what happened to the native people. It's about greed. It's about gluttony, colonization, religion, identity, erasure, a whole bunch of stuff. It is 15 hours long in the audiobook. I think it's roughly about 500 pages. Please read from the rooter to the tutor, including the acknowledgments. Because it's going to give you a depth of knowledge and understanding that me just talking about it cannot do. So, anywho, Good Stab goes back and he trying to help his people, because now all these soldiers instead they boom, 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 they're shooting him up. And the way he describes one of his members, one of his people getting shot up. If you've ever seen any Westerns and they're getting shot and they're just taking the impact from the bullets, he describes it as his body dancing, and I could totally see it, totally see everything. Anywho, in the midst of this, there is this big giant cage. There's the Catman in there. He don't like the bright lights or whatever. They're losing the battle. People are singing their war cries, and one of them, let me see if I can come in here and see who opens it up, because I done forgot his name. But anyway, they're like, who is this Catman? They think he's a white god. And so they're gonna take him to open a pathway so that the Blackfeet people could get away from these colonizers. But they're losing the battle. So one of them opens up the cage and lets the Catman out. And the Catman, who's a vampire, starts ravaging everybody. That's the other thing too, y'all. This book is bloody. It's bloody and it is gory. Stephen, in front of my oatmeal, Stephen. Really, really, sir? I'm eating my oatmeal. We're at the church. I'm jumping ahead, y'all. Don't mind me. And you're describing what's going on in the church when Good Stab finally has his last confrontation with Arthur Bocane. You owe me a bowl of oatmeal, sir. I had to put that stuff down. I couldn't eat it, and I couldn't eat any oatmeal today because I was still thinking about it, because you were so blurred, descriptive. Really, really good. I'm not really mad at you. But sir, you didn't have to do that in front of my oatmeal. Anywho, so the vampire's attacking everybody. Some of the vampire's bloods gets into Stephen. I keep calling Good Stab Stephen. I'm so sorry. Gets into Good Stab's wounds, and it turns him into a vampire. So he starts feeling pain, or not feeling pain. He starts getting stabbed and shot, and it don't hurt him. He's like, what the hell is going on? Anywho, he gets turned into a vampire. So Good Stab is now turned into a vampire. That other one got away. I don't know where he is. He's gone. He's gotten away. Good Stab now has to figure out how to live, how to survive. And so that's a long process in the book. It's talking about what he eats and how he's realizing, hey, something ain't quite right. Something's not quite right. What's going on? So he's realizing, hey, I'm not who I thought I was. I have changed. Let me jump into some of these questions because I feel like I've set it up more than enough, probably a little bit too much. I did want to talk about a couple of things. Okay, so Good Stab is in the backcountry basically, and he keeps running into different people. He starts eating a lot of fur trappers that are going up there. He eats so many fur trappers that he starts to. This is a spoiler. This is a spoiler. If you are watching this, hello, replay viewers. If you're watching this and you have not got up to this part yet, now is your time to turn back. Please turn back. Spoilers are ahead. I'm gonna give you a second. Okay, your second's over. Good Stab eats so many white men. He starts to turn into a white man. He starts to look like a white man. There is a part in the book where there's this young man. His name is Happy. He's on his vision quest. I'm sorry, Blackfoot people, if that's not what y'all call it. That's what I know to call it, and I apologize if I got that wrong. Anywho, he's getting his vision quest. He's starving. He's hungry. He's been fasting, and he up in the mountains all by himself. And Good Stab's like, he sees him, and he's like, he's lonely. He misses people. He's been in the mountains for years by himself, trying to figure out how to be a good little vampire. Anywho, he gets some embers from his horn. Oh, y'all, I forgot to tell you because he had his little pet buffalo with a weasel plume. When I catch you, Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky. This is spoilers too. When I catch you, Ricky. First of all, Stephen, I think you should have went in a little bit harder on the cat man, cause of weasel plume, and that's all I'm gonna say. Cause I know I have some people who are gonna watch this, and they ain't got here yet. Stephen, you should have did a little bit more. And I know that the cat man did some horrible things to your people too. That's for sure. I think you should have did a little bit more to him, but it's still a wonderful book. Anywho, Good Stab gives Happy, this little boy, ember fire. The young man passes out. He talking to him. He lets him know, hey, a lot of things has happened since you've been up here in these mountains, and your people done been massacred. And Good Stab does not know this. He's like, man, I've been up here for a couple years. I didn't know what's going on. So this little boy has to tell him, your people have been massacred. And so that's what sets him off. He starts trying to find out who did this, who killed all these people, because there's different bands of Blackfoot, and his Good Stab's band is called the Small Robes. That's another thing too. There are a lot of is it a metaphor? Is that the word? Symbols. There's a lot of symbology in this book too. One of the things is robes and disguise and identity. He talks a lot about Arthur, the pastor's robes, and Good Stab's robes as well. And then he also talks about the buffalo's robes too. Anywho, Good Stab ends up taking Happy back down to his people, back down to camp, and he wants to be there with them, but he can't because he's a vampire now. Good Stab does not know that he looks like a white man now. Something happens with Good Stab. I won't get into it too much. Because I really want y'all to read this book. Oh my God, I do. Also, y'all, though, if it's too scary for you, you don't like blood and gore, it needs some trigger warnings for a whole bunch of things: sexual assault, child death, all kind of things, child. If that's not your cup of tea, but you just kind of want to know what happened, come on to the library. I'd love to talk to you about this book. I'd love to talk to you. I'll tell you everything you want to know from beginning to end, sweetie. Anywho, so Good Stab takes Happy down to his people, and he had talked to him and whatnot. And so when Happy is telling Good Stab what happens, Good Stab starts to cry. Now he's crying, but he's a vampire now, so he cries and his blood. It freaks Pola Happy out, Good Stab ends up setting the backbone on fire because Happy is like, I don't know who the hell you are, but I'm getting up out of here. Anywho, because he does that, he gets a couple of names. He starts going and he starts killing all these buffalo hunters after he realizes what's happening. He gets two new names. One of them is the Full Blood. I think it's because he's full of blood, but also maybe it's because he's a full blood. But also he gets the name of Takes No Scalps because he just killing people. He ain't taking no scalps or nothing. Also, y'all know French people started doing that. That was a French people tradition. They started doing that. I think you could get like a lot of money for the scalps. That's why that started. It was not actually a Native American practice. If memory serves, or if I have my story straight, and I think I do. But if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section. Okay. Let me see. Oh, you know what? Let's ask some questions because we have a little bit of time. I haven't even gotten to some of the things I want to talk about, and I already been talking for about 30 minutes, y'all. All right, so there is this one big scene where Good Stab confronts these buffalo hunters. Y'all, I cannot talk to you about what these people were doing to the buffalo calves and how he got why does it keep doing that? I gotta lean forward. And how he got his pet buffalo Weasel Plume. But my God, on today, the people who were doing that were just horrible. The descriptions in there will not leave your mind. It will be burnt into your brain. And I think that's probably a good thing. Anywho, why am I telling you? Oh, because in questions of identity, Good Stab becomes the poison and the medicine, basically. The people, like, he's been up in the mountains so long, they think that Good Stab is dead. And essentially he is. But they're not, some people are not making the connection that Good Stab Takes No Scalps and Full Blood are all the same person. The one person who does that ends up being his father. So anywho, the Full Blood, who is also Good Stab, ends up being kind of like a demigod or a folk hero to the people because they realize he's trying to help us. He's trying to get in here and mess these people up with us. There's only so much they can do. So what is going on with the buffalo situation? Let me just stop to say this really quickly. There used to be 60 million buffalo all the way from Canada to Mexico, roaming up and down this prairie. Now, of course, the white people, colonizers, settlers, if you will, wanted to get rid of the native folks. So they said, let's see what we could do here. What could we do? Oh, I know. A lot of them, not just the Blackfeet, but a whole bunch of other nations depend on the buffalo. So if we kill their main source of food, then they're going to have to do what we say. Here's the deal. Buffalo have been in America, in the Americas, for centuries. Thousands and thousands of years. They have evolved with this ecosystem. So when you take someone, a living entity that has been intertwined with this ecosystem out, you mess up a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of people have never seen a buffalo up close and personal. I have been to Yellowstone. I have been to Montana, and those things are huge. The female buffaloes, I believe they're called cows, are about as big as an SUV. I'm not even playing. They reach almost to the top. The boy buffaloes, the bulls, I believe that's what they are called, are bigger than SUV. They're huge. Like a lot of times y'all don't even know how big deers are. Deers are huge as well. They come way above people's waist. They're not small. They are graceful and strong. They're full of strength and graceful. Y'all think it's all Bambi and cute, but get kicked by one of them. It ain't good. Sometimes deer be coming in my yard, y'all. I'm real proud about that. My yard is so safe and pleasant looking that the deer come into my yard. And it's not like I live out in the country, y'all. I live down the street. Anywho, I'm saying all this because the buffalo have evolved with the Americas for thousands of years. So when they're roaming back and forth, they're eating all these wild and native plants and they're fertilizing them with their poop. They're breaking up the ground and scratching it and making it fertile because they roll in it to get rid of bugs and parasites. And or is that the right word? I think so. I was gonna say fleas. I don't know if they get fleas or not, but they get all kind of other things. So they're rolling in the ground, breaking things up. That is a part of what was supposed to be happening. And because they killed all these buffalo, I should have showed y'all a picture of what they did. Just mounds and mounds and mounds of buffalo skulls. I think that's what led to the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. That's one of the major factors, is because there wasn't as many native grasses and plants that should have been there to stop soil erosion. There wasn't that constant replenishing and fertilization. And so because they were trying to do something nasty to native people, it came back and blowed back upon us. And we're still feeling the effects of it as well. They're feeling it more than anybody, but we're still feeling the effects of it because of climate change. Half of Colorado is on fire right now because if I wish that there was a prime directive for colonizers. I guess they would be called something else, maybe explorers, like the prime directive like they have in Star Trek, where you can't interfere with any society because you're going to impede on their growth. I wish there had been a prime directive for these I'm finding it for the colonizers, because they messed up so much. They caused so much trauma. And I want to live in the timeline where the native folks across all of the Americas were left alone. I want to see what the forest would look like. I want to see what the environment would look like. I want to see how they would have developed with the land. A lot of y'all might not know this, and I shouldn't say a lot because that makes me sound arrogant, but some of y'all might not know that as far as human evolution is concerned, when the native folks got over here to the Americas, and when I say the Americas, I'm including Canada all the way down to Chile. That's all. North America, South America, Central America, all of it. I'm including all of them. 500 million different tribes, nations. Anyway, they were over here for 32,000 years by themselves. So they too, very much like the buffalo, evolved with this land. And when they killed all them buffaloes, a lot of the tribes and the nations that were dependent on them, their height went down by several inches. The mortality rate went up. And also, again, we are feeling the effects of that horrible thing that was done to the people and the land. And there's this one part in the book. Okay, so Good Stab is just like, hey, I'm finna mess it up because y'all is getting on my nerves. So he goes to where he runs across these hide hunters. That's what he started calling them. And he's waiting for them to come into this enclosure that they, like a little house that they've built, because you have the people who are shooting the buffalo, then you have the people who are skinning the buffalo as well, and they're killing so many of them. It hurts his heart because he's looking around and he was like, this is enough food to feed not only the Pagani, but a whole bunch of other people for a long time. And he's just seeing their corpses rotting in the sun because they just took off the hides and left the buffalo just there. So anywho, he is waiting because he gonna start slaughtering. Now, if you get to this part, my mask is crooked. I'm sorry, y'all. In the book, y'all, if you get to this part where he's like waiting for somebody to comment on, that's the trigger warning, y'all. That's a trigger warning. I'm sorry. I said that I would try not to do any spoilers. I think I've done good so far, but that's a tiny bit of a spoiler. If you are sensitive to blood, gore, or anything like that, baby, that's the part where you might want to skip over and come talk to Lovely at the library, and I'll tell you what happened in the most delicate way I can. But anywho, so far I've been talking about white people. Good Stab is relaying all these stories to the pastor. He does this over a few weeks' time, as these murders and bodies are popping up in the town where Arthur Buchanan is. Anywho, this black man comes in and he's relaying this story to the pastor. And he goes, even though I had never seen a black, no, he said, even though I had never seen somebody with black skin before, it was my first time seeing somebody with black skin. He was with these hide hunters, so he had to go too. That's right. Big brother Goodstab said, hey, you Buffalo Soldier dreadlock Rasta, you finna get it too. You shouldn't have been over here. You finna get it too. So I'm going to pause and talk to y'all about this because, again, this is a Western horror, a historical horror. So Black people were Buffalo Soldiers. For a lot of Black folks, especially if you're from Texas, it's a pride of point. Hey, they had just gotten out of slavery and they were trying to go along to get along and to, American dream. And provide for themselves. And so the Buffalo Soldiers did kill Native people. They fought against them. They did shoot buffalo as well. And why am I saying this? Oh, because it needs to be reconciled with as well. On the one hand, Black people are proud of the Buffalo Soldiers because they did all that. They fought in the Spanish-American War. They created all them trails in the national park. That was us. That Dudley Do-Right hat, Buffalo Soldiers again. But also, they were also enacting violence on behalf of the American government. And that's just the truth. And that is something that needs to be reconciled with. How do you participate in the governmental structures? How are you participating in oppression that maybe you think won't affect you? But honey, yes, it will. It always does. It always does. You know why? Because tokens get spent. So I said all that to say everybody have to reconcile with it. And I will say this too, because we're kind of coming to the end. A large part of this book, I'm trying to think how to say this without spoiling it, is how do we reconcile with our legacy? Are we going to maintain it and celebrate it and brush it over and not talk about the deep, dark parts? Or are we going to deal with it? Are we going to deal with it? Because if we don't, it's going to keep going on and on. There's going to be tragedy and trauma on a loop. If we don't start talking about it, if we don't start dealing with it. I personally think that the Buffalo Hunter is a wonderful way to begin this discussion. Yes, it's bloody. Yes, it's gory. It is going to become a classic. I promise you. How old am I? I'm 52. Why am I telling y'all that? Oh, because I'm trying to calculate. If my daughter has any kids, then her kids will probably learn about this book in schools. If y'all are still reading, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean. Y'all need to come and participate in summer reading. But all that AI got y'all not wanting to read. Excuse me. Pardon me. All that AI got you not wanting to read and wanting things to come easy for you. And that's just not how things, not if you want them to last, that's not how things work. Let me try and wrap this up. I know what it was. When I'm telling my wife about this book, first of all, I'm telling everybody about this book. I'm really trying hard not to give y'all spoilers, but I was out there preaching the good gospel about the Buffalo Hunter. And after I got past a few violent parts, my wife was like, does that change how you feel about Goodstab? And I said, no, not really. Because first of all, he's a vampire. Y'all, vampires ain't got no soul, so they gonna do some sketchy stuff. It's in the name. It's literally in the name. But also, I really can't blame him for becoming who he had to become to survive. And he did some monstrous things to a whole bunch of people. And that's why he's in there confessing to the pastor in the first place, because he knows he's done monstrous things. He said he hates himself and he always will. He said he's the worst thing that you could be, an Indian who won't die. Again, I am not, this little discussion, I'm not doing the book justice at all. But again, the actors, the narration is top tier. Everybody did their big one. And the reason why they could do it so well is because of the source material. Stephen, that little girl in the book, the one that Evil Catman is after, I think you're like her. I think you're like her as far as your writing is concerned, as far as how good you are. You made me like a horror book. I didn't think that was possible. It's only possible because that story underneath the horror carries the rest of the story. That's really, really important. Kind of like how in Night of the Living Dead, Stephen Romero, because he cast the main character as a black man, that changed the whole narrative of the story. Kind of like that. What else? I've already said it's going to be a classic. I mean, he has just got, it's going to be an American classic. And if you don't know it, Stephen, you are an American treasure. I am not joking when I'm putting your writing skills and level like an Alice Walker, like a Toni Morrison. I'm not joking at all. I hope you know that about yourself. Uh, and I just really think more people need to read this man's books. He has a lot to say. You might need to pace yourself, though, because Child was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath. It was a gothic horror joyride bloodbath. Let me see if I can look at any question that might help you guys, because that's really what I'm trying to do, is get you guys to read this book. I really think that you guys would enjoy it. Let me think. How does the book address the concept of cultural identity, assimilation, and erasure? I could get into that a little bit. And that's the one thing, too. I was thinking, because the Catman eventually comes, the Catman ends up running or being the chief of a small band of Pekuni, of Blackfoot, because I don't think I'm saying that properly. And he somehow captures or runs into Goodstab, who, oh, I know, because he did catch Goodstab. He did catch Goodstab after a while, and he keeps Goodstab and he feeds him white men. He feeds him so many white men that Goodstab starts to look like a white man. And the deal is this: the only reason why those people were believing, I think they called him Longlegs, was his chief name. It's because he looked like a native. And that's not their fault that they couldn't tell. But I'm just wondering if this has something to do with pretendians and how they consume native people and discard them once they're done with what they came for. And how some people with quote unquote lower blood quantum, who are connected not only through blood, but through the land and culture and practices, are not believed. I don't know if that's what Stephen was going for. Again, I ain't trying to be in native people's business. I'm not trying to tell y'all about no blood quantum or not blood quantum, because I'm over here with black people and the one drop rule. And I think it might work opposite in our various communities. So I'm not trying to be rude or nothing or be in y'all's business. But I will say this. I believe we have 7 or 8 print copies of this book. They're all checked out. I think you can get the audio book through Libby. And I want to see if it's on Hoopla. I don't think it is, but let me check just real quick while I'm here. Let me see real fast, friends. I'm sorry I didn't do this before. Let's see. I don't think it is on Hoopla. At least not through PCCLD. You might be able to get it if you got a Denver card or something like that. Let me see which card I'm on, because either way, y'all get this book. Get it and read it. We could talk about it in depth. I think let me come. Oh, you know what? We done our discussion questions. This book talks about the massacre of the buffalo, of a group of Blackfeet people, identity, your cultural legacy. Let me see what else. Oh my goodness, it also talks about religion. I can't give too much away, but it talks about how religion played a role in colonization and genocide as well. And greed. I will say this, y'all. Let me put, child, one thing I will say real quick. Hold on. Let's get that out of here. That dang pastor was a greedy heifer. He was so dang greedy. He was always talking about food, always talking about food that he never had to make for himself because his parishioners was just dropping them off. And how he would try to stretch it out throughout the week, but he couldn't. He was a gluttonous, greedy, greedy person. Bitter, greedy man. What else? What are some other things? We talked about identity as well. One of the things too, I think I was kind of alluding it to it. First, he was good stab. He really was Weasel Plume when he was a little boy, but he was Good Stab. Then Good Stab turned into He Who Takes No Scalp, who was also the Full Blood. So there are several different identities. He was a terror to his people, but also a savior or a hero. He also, when he was just a regular man, was kind of a mess up, a chucklehead, if you will, because what'd you kill that beaver for? If you didn't go over there wasting time killing that beaver, then you might have just died a hero, or we might, but I'm saying this because there was always, he was doing that because he wanted a mini shotgun. He was being greedy. He had consumption issues. I think that the vampire nature kind of amplified what was going on for Good Stab in his own personal life and his issues with his status. I will say that I tend to, in my own practice, give my ancestors the most grace. Like, for instance, Black people back in the day would pass as white to make things easier on themselves. I hold grace for my ancestors who may have done that because I don't know what decision I would have made in their same position. So I tend to give them so much grace, so much grace, probably because I know they're better than me. Yeah, I just think that it's easy to sit here and be an armchair quarterback or a backseat driver. I don't play sports. I don't know how to drive a car, so those metaphors are weird, but whatever. And so I'm real hesitant, and I'm trying to give Good Stab grace and whatnot, even though he's not a real person. I do think that the way Stephen Graham Jones used a historical event to talk about vampires was amazing. He actually taught a class on vampires at Colorado College or CU Boulder. I don't forgot where you at, friend. But anyway, he taught this class, and so I think because he was mixed up with all these other writers and they're talking about vampires, he had to write a vampire story too. I wonder if he's seen Sinners. Steven, have you seen Sinners? Have you? Because I wonder what you think about it. And if you haven't seen Sinners, you should watch it. I think you would like it. Also, I wonder if this book would get optioned for a screenplay. I think it would be really good. It'd be bloody. It would be horrific, but I think it might work as a screenplay. I hope something like that happens. Only if you wanted to, though, Stephen, because I don't know nothing about no Hollywood other than there are a bunch of weirdos. Anywho, I think that's about it, y'all. I don't feel like I've done this book justice. And I think the only way you're going to really understand me is if you read it yourself. I hope you do. It is a popular book right now. Like I said, all 7 copies are checked out. We got an audio copy. Matter of fact, hey, let's do this right now. Let me turn this book in so that y'all can check it out. How about that? Oh, last thing. Let's add this back to the stage. Make it bigger. Okay, so I feel like we've done a lot of discussion. I hope that I have been able to convey to y'all how good this book was. I thought it was amazing. If you enjoyed this book, here are some other books that we have either in print form. Hold on, what is that, friends? Either in print form or audio book or ebook. Hang on, I'm finna get rid of this banner. There. If you're wanting more Stephen Graham Jones, this is the first volume of his comic book called Earth Divers. It is about a group of Native people in the future. I think it's 2162 or something like that. And there are all kind of environmental catastrophes going on. So they make a group of Native scientists make a time machine, and they send one person on a one-way trip back in time to stop Columbus. That's the first volume. There are 3. If you want more Native people who have to deal with vampires, you want to read Alachua by Darcy Little Badger. She is also from Texas. She's a Lagniappe Apache. That's in East Texas. I happen to know that because I do believe our farm in East Texas is on Lagniappe Apache land. If you're wanting more alternate history, To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monoquel Black Goose is a wonderful book. It's about a Wampanoag girl and her dragon who have to leave their island in order to learn to navigate white society so she can go back home and protect her people. That is phenomenal. She does an excellent world building, just like Stephen Graham Jones, who also does excellent world building, is what I should have said. Wonderful, wonderful book. Also, that the part 2 to this book is already out. I think it's just a duology. Monoquel Black Goose is a credit to her craft and her people. Child, that's also a very good book too. And then also right here, Never Whistle at Night. It was edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore Van Alst Jr. It is a Native American, an indigenous dark fiction anthology. So if that's your jam, you want to check out those books. We have them all here at Pueblo or PCCLD. This is the book that we will be reading next month. It is an eldritch horror. Again, I say I don't like horror, and half my books this year is scary. Anyway, this one's just more of an eldritch horror. It's more campy than anything. It's called Direct Descendant by Tanya Huff. We'll be discussing that on the 20th of August at 4 p.m. Please come and check these books out. We have audiobook as well and plenty of copies. I am going to release those so that you guys can check them out. Look at those aspen trees. Oh, he mentioned those in the book. Good Stab said he didn't like to be surrounded by aspen trees because he felt like he was surrounded by Napiquans. That's white people. Anywho, y'all, thank you so much for giving me your time, live stream viewers, replay viewers as well. I appreciate you for hanging out with me, and I look forward to discussing Direct Descendants with you next time we meet up. Oh, wait, let me get this off of here. Let's do that. Yes, here we go. Is that a moose? Hang on, what is that? It is a moose. Y'all, them mooses, y'all be thinking these vegetarians are sweet and cute. They'll stomp you into the ground. Anyway, y'all have a good day. I'll see you next week. Next month. Bye.